Hello, hello, hello. We're back with our Sunday script studies. Sunday script study, always, always. It's like Sunday Bible study before movie people. Alright, so today's script is gonna be a short one because I'm gonna be playing Chicory right after. Everything. Alright. Alright. So, today's script is going to be short. It's only 40 pages long. It's a half-hour comedy series, Bojack Horseman. You can watch it on Netflix. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, Mr. Bojack. It's so good, it's so fun. Yeah, we're gonna be looking at the episode called Time's Arrow. I think it's season 4, episode 11. There you go, that's how you do 11. Episode 11, written by Kate Purdy. This is the table draft on November 30th, 2016. Whoa, that's a long time ago. That's like 8 years ago. God damn, 8 years ago. Well, I think it's been a while since I've watched the show. I finished it a long time ago, and it's gonna be good to remember to be like, oh, that's what it is. That's how it happened. That's what this is. That's what that is. Trying to remember what happened, but I vaguely remember Time's Arrow, which is the episode where Bojack is with his mom, and it's like flashback to the mom's like past and stuff, and it's pretty sad. And I remember the writing was super good because I've read this is in my own script library, so I've read this before, but it's just been a while. Haha. Okay, we're getting in there. Let's go. Without further ado, let's start. Alright, we got table draft. So, oh yeah, this is gonna be a different format too. We did two movie film script for like feature film scripts. Now it's time for TV style. But I think a lot of TV shows, like if you're looking at like Game of Thrones or like the big budget, big boy TV shows, those are like what? This is the same thing as a film script style format, but it's just shorter for TV. But then this one, since it's animated television, it's kind of like episodic, 30 minute episodic TV. It uses a bit of both. It gives you the act titles, and then it gives you the scenes. It's not 100% like 30-minute comedy sitcom style. We can look at those later, like Big Bang Theory or something like that. Those scripts are a lot different. It's a completely different formatting, but this is just there's a few different things here. And it'll be cool to see if there's any differences in writing for animation versus for live action. Interior, exterior, Bojack's car. Interior, exterior for they're inside the car, but the car is outside, and the scene's gonna be going from inside and outside the car. Furious, Bojack speeds down the highway. Beatrice sits in the passenger seat. Hello. Well, I should do voices. I'll do grandma boy. Slow down, Henrietta. Lady mustn't rush. It's unbecoming. Shut up. As the president says, the woman who makes a rushing ride shall never be a blushing bride. What president says that? President Roosevelt. He said it to his friend, the eel. What eel? The nude one, of course. President Roosevelt's nude eel. What? What? You sound like a light bulb, Henrietta. I'm not Henrietta, I'm your son. My son is a ball of gas. Yes, your son, Bojack. I'm him. I'm the ball of gas. but you're also a star. Oh my god, that voice is gonna get tiring. Wait, Mom, do you remember? Shush, Henrietta. I'm talking to the sun. Out the window to the sun. Son, you're a ball of gas, but you're also a star. We call you Sun. Where are you taking me? Are we going to the lake house? No, we're going to the glorious magical place where they'll lock you in a room by yourself so you can't hurt anyone ever again. Oh, that sounds lovely. Why are you driving so slowly? Hurry up! You just said time's arrow neither stands still nor reverses. After all, it merely marches forward. Isn't that right, Henrietta? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that there's gonna be... This is like, since, I mean, it's common sense, but this is season 4, so if you don't know season 4 Bojack, then you don't know what the hell's going on. But it's okay. Beatrice is mom. Bojack is the MC. And then we have Henrietta, which was the maid. Beatrice's maid. And Beatrice was very abusive and neglectful of Bojack throughout Bojack's childhood. We'll see that in here. And they were from like a decently... Beatrice was from a very rich family. What was it? Like the Sugarfoot family or whatever. And then Sugar Cube family. And she sort of married this like wannabe writer, deadbeat looking dude. And then they had Bojack, and her life is miserable. And she made Bojack's life miserable and all that fun stuff. Alright. Pan over to the driver's seat. Instead of Bojack, a young woman is driving. This is Henrietta. Yes, Mrs. Horseman. That's right. Yeah, that's the voice. Yes, Mrs. Horseman. Horseman? Beatrice, now 20 years younger, smiles. The two drive in silence. Alright, so this is... Now we're in the past. Boom. Past. Maybe they could have done something to indicate it better. Kind of like how we saw in... what was that one? Little Women? Kind of like how we saw in the Little Women script. But it's okay. As they drive, the background changes and flashes. The woods of Michigan, the streets of San Francisco, a living room of fire, and finally a deep white fog. The car stops. Well, here we are. Here. Yeah. Yes. I'm trying to find her voice again. Mrs. Horseman? Yes. Alright, I'll just do head voice. Yeah. Henrietta gets out, slams the door. Beatrice looks at herself in the rearview mirror. Her reflection is old. Beatrice recoils, swats the mirror away. I like all them verbs. These active verbs, man. She opens the car door. We're close on white space. Continuous. What? Omori? White space. We're close to the exterior bottom of the door as a little girl's leg steps out. Young Beatrice, age 7, wears a Catholic school uniform, looks around. The car is gone. She is alone with her doll in white space. Alright, so there we go. I like this cold open. It gives you a little bit of like what's going on in the real world with Bojack sending his mom to the thing. And that's kind of what is just going to be happening in the real world. But then the majority of the episode will take place in the flashbacks. So, end of cold open. And then you just skip to the next page for this format. Why is it so laggy? Like, please. There. Yeah. Act 1. Let's go. I don't have to guess where Act 1 and Act 2 is. I can just decide. I can just read it. White space. Young Beatrice walks through the space. As she walks, the world around her changes into a 1940s playground. St. Mary's School for Girls Playground, 1947 day. She comes upon a metal slide with 3 girls standing atop it. She climbs the ladder. Clemelia Bloodsworth, a goose, yells down. They're all animals too, so it's like, that's cool. Goose. I said halt. Oh man, I can't do it. Yes. I said halt. I said halt. No entry. But I wanna slide. Well, I should just do accents instead of changing the voice. But I could do pitch and accent, so. This is no mere slide. Clemelia is so country. We'll do that. This is no mere slide. We three are members of an elite society of extremely young women, led by Miss Clemelia Bloodsworth. And this is our private roost, you plebeian. We have no invitation. Whoa, what was that, Axe? You may not enter. Yeah, and you're also fat. Shall we hate you? I'm not fat. The girls laugh. Beatrice coughs as she climbs. Even your lungs expostulate as they struggle to expel your ample corpulence. She's saying your lungs think you're fat too. Beatrice continues climbing. You're wrong. Father says I'm just growing. Yes, growing horizontally. Now, if you do not halt, we will be forced to physically impede your advances. Beatrice gets her hands to the top rung. You have been forewarned. The girls stomp at Beatrice's hands. Oh, stop. You're hurting me. Clemelia bites with her beak. Beatrice cries out, pulling her hands away. She falls. The wind is knocked out of her. She hits the ground. She hyperventilates and coughs. The girls laugh. Damn. So now we're seeing a bit more of Beatrice's past. So to further explain, this is why I like Bojack. It really goes into like the reasonings of character, the character psychologies and stuff. You understand why. You can see why Beatrice was very toxic and abusive to Bojack. Start seeing some of it. A little bit. It's gonna get worse, I think. Beatrice is in bed reading a book titled The Next Morning. Her doll is tucked under her arm. There's a fire smoldering in the fireplace in her room. Her father, Joseph, enters. Beatrice, stop reading and put on your uniform. Father, I don't feel so well. Beatrice lets out a pathetic cough. Darling, I don't care if you're scared of Clemelia Bloodsworth and her gaggle. You must go to school. Now stop making books your friends. Reading does nothing for young women but build their brains, taking valuable resources away from their breasts and hips. My God, Joseph, chill. But my throat hurts. Uniform, now. In a daze, Honey passes through the doorway and stares into the room. Silently, Beatrice watches her. Joseph notices. Honey, you're doing that aimless wandering thing again that gives the heebie-jeebies. I swear, if I'd known this is how you'd behave once we severed the connections of your prefrontal cortex, I'd hardly have bothered. Driveway to the Sugarman Estate, 1947 day. Alright, so Honey is the mom, I'm assuming. That's kind of what I remember, but I'm not too sure. So we have Honey. She has her lobotomy thing. This is like 1947. So we got like a lot of that good old sexism going on in here. Very juicy. We'll see what goes on. Driveway to the Sugarman Estate. Yeah, Sugarman. 1947 day. Driveway rocks crunch under Beatrice's saddle shoes as she walks, clutching her doll. Joseph carries her school satchel and coat behind her. You know, there are people who are mean to Daddy at work, but I still have to go. I cannot just take a sick day every time the National Consumers League pokes around to make sure I'm not abusing my workers. Just then, Beatrice swoons, and Joseph, startled, catches her. Oh. Beatrice. She clutches her head. Oh my, you're hot. Wait, that sounds like a weird hot. He unbuttons her collar. There's a rash running down her neck and onto her chest. Dear Lord. He swoops her up. Her arm dangles as she is rushed inside. Hanging from her small fist is her doll. Beatrice's bedroom, 1947 night. Beatrice wakes up in bed in a fevered state. There's a fire in her fireplace. She hears her dad yelling at her mom. Their shadows dance across the hallway. Outside the room. Now listen here, it is a mother's duty to keep her children alive, and you are continually failing. How could you not have known she has scarlet fever? Honey's shadow is non-responsive as Joseph shakes her. Say something, damn it. What has become of you? Father? Joseph's shadow freezes, then quickly composes itself. Joseph calmly enters his room. Yes, darling. Am I to die? No, of course not. Well, eventually, yes, but this illness is but a hiccup in what will be a long, happy life, I promise. You promise? In fact, some good may yet come of this. Doctor says your throat is nearly swollen shut, so perhaps you'll finally lose some of that weight that's giving you such troubles. Won't that be nice? Damn me, this Joseph is savage. He's insane. Beatrice smiles sadly. Yes, father. She hugs her doll tightly, staring into the fire. Yeah, dude, her dad is so overwhelming. We come out of the fire to find a 23-year-old too thin Beatrice being cinched into a corset by a maid. Suck in, Miss Sugarman. Ow! Oh! Be a darling and fetch me a pretty pill and a glass of water, won't you? Yes, Miss Sugarman. Yes, Miss Sugarman. Joseph, 50s in tuxedo, steps in. Alright, they're older now. Beatrice, your appetite appeals. Your appetite suppressants won't make you immediately fit into that dress. That's not how they work. They make me feel better, father. Now she's British, I guess. I'll take it. Well, that's fine, because your debutante party is vitally important. Oh, will it end poverty, war, and injustice, or bring back a civil rights activist, Medgar Evers, who was shot in the Mississippi this week? No, it won't do those things, but it will help you land a husband. There's a lot of dialogue, too, which is pretty good. It makes things flow. That also adds to the length. So this is 40 pages. But dialogue will go faster and switch it. So technically it will be like 30 or like 20. How long are these episodes? But like around this 30s in the 20s minutes long of actual runtime. But then 40 pages on the script, because typically, one page is 1 minute of movie. So, but if it's mostly dialogue, then it will be longer. It'll be like 1.5 ratio. And this is all dialogue. That's just how it is. Mainly comedies and mainly, I guess, yeah, for like these types of shows. At least Evers' death means no one else will be assassinated this year in 1963. The FBI is on too high alert to allow something like that to happen again. That's for certain. Who died in 1963? I don't remember. Was it like John F. Kennedy? I think Kennedy was way later. No? Roosevelt? I think it's Kennedy. Now your chaperone, Corbin Creamerman, is a fine young creamer man. Oh my god. Unless, of course, the FBI is somehow involved in this potential future assassination. But that's foolish. No, there will be no more assassinations in 1963. The year that this is, in which John F. Kennedy is still alive, the president. Yes, John F. Kennedy will not be assassinated in 1963. Yes, well, Corbin's father, Mort Creamerman, is founder of Creamerman's creamy cream-based commodities. Think of all the free ice cream you could serve to other people. Father, do you aim to marry me off to Corbin Creamery merely because it would be good for business? Well, I suppose I do have a few ideas of how a Sugarman-Creamerman alliance might be advantageous. Uh-huh. For example, imagine a television advertisement with a fun jingle. Have your morning coffee or tea with Sugarman and Creamerman, but save some for these fellas. And then it's Mort and me, and we're holding up our fresh products with big smiles from across a very ordinary looking kitchen table. What fun, yes. Yeah, Beatrice is rich as fuck. Father, common Americans don't want you on their TV sets. You're a reminder of the disparity of wealth in this country. Poor people find that dreadfully gosh. Is that how you pronounce that? I know this word. And I've pronounced it before, but now that I need to pronounce it, I'm self-conscious. What? Gosh. Father, common Americans. Maybe I should do an American accent instead of British for these people. And now I sent you to a Barnard to get your MRS from a upstanding Columbia man, but instead of a bachelor, you return home with a bachelor's degree and a mouthful of sass. What a waste, dude. The writing is so good for all these characters. Beatrice, her dialogue really shows her character. She's that young hippie vibe going on, right? That new learning, trying to change the world. And Joseph's that boomer looking dude. And they're all like, you know, I sent you. And I just like the line, dude. I sent you to Barnard to get your MRS from a fine upstanding Columbia man, but instead of a bachelor, you'll return home with a bachelor's degree and a mouthful of sass. Damn. Beatrice sighs, annoyed. She turns away, and as she turns, her corset turns into a beautiful ball gown, and the background changes to transition. 1963 night. Beatrice plasters on a smile. Corbin, I like that verb. Corbin Creamerman, 24, a white goat, approaches with a glass of champagne. Here you go. He hands it to Beatrice. Here you go. Here you go. I'll do that. Here you go. Thanks. They stand awkwardly for a moment, sipping their drink. So, you look nice. Thank you, Corbin. That's the third time you've told me. You needn't to tell me again. Oh, geez, I'm sorry, but I'm not always good at these things. Sometimes I am. I can be. I try to be. I'm not, but I'm really not. I don't know why. That's alright. I'm not either. You look nice. Thank you. Camellia Bloodsworth, now 23, approaches her with her husband, Jan Bronson, a Swedish human. How do I do a Swedish accent? It was a country accent. Beatrice. Oh, Beatrice, sugar man. Doth my eye believe me? Blimey. Camellia Bloodsworth, why are you here? Our fathers share a mutual affiliation with a fraternal society, the Indianapolis Ooga Boogas. Therefore, Daddy compelled us to attend. May I present my esteemed and comely bridegroom, Mr. Jan Bronson. Does he hail from Wisconsin? No, in fact, he's a Swede, heir to the Hastings Swedish luxury beds fortune. Hastings? You make your beds with horsehair, is that right? If I am to be honest, yes. No, that's not Swedish. How the fuck do you do a Swedish accent? What do Swedish people sound like? Jürgen Bergen. Yoo-hoo. Woohoo. I just remember from Frozen, like, ooh, ooh, sweet summer blowout. We have half of clogs and swimming utensils. Something like that. If I'm to be honest, yes. If I'm to be honest, yes. Well, beds must be stuffed with something fortuitously it's not goose feathers, right, darling? If I'm to be honest, yes. Isn't he just the sweetest? What a beautiful pun. That's A tier, A plus pun right there. Quite. I must say, it's tremendous you're finally debuting. Better late than never, huh? I'm only doing this for my father, who has very old-fashioned ideas about how a woman is to live her life. Poor Corbin here is saddled with chaperoning me. I don't feel saddled. It's alright, Corbin. In truth, I find these parties to be garish, self-serving wastes of money, and I'm sure yours was particularly horrendous, Clemelia. Clemelia gasps in shock. Oh my, how repugnant. Be honest with me, Jan. Was it horrendous? If I'm to be honest, mind your transgressions, for I will be quite onerous to mollify. Bro, what is this language? I'm testing my English abilities with reading these words. Is that even how you pronounce it? Onerous. Eh? I should not be so honest. That's what I thought. The background behind Beatrice flickers and suddenly she's at the bar alone. Scotch on the rocks. Scotch on the rocks. He nods. She notices Butterscotch Horseman 20s sitting on the bar stool next to her. He shines an apple on his leather jacket and takes a bite. Do I know you? Nope. Just what kind of voice should I do this guy? This guy's be like, no, I'm gonna do like a surfer, bro. What's going on, bro? Shaka bra, bro. We're gonna do a surfer. Nah, man, just crashing some dumb debutante's party. Oh, may I ask, in the phrase dumb debutante's party, do you mean for dumb to describe the party or the debutante? Because I might agree with you, or I might be offended. Damn, so deep. He looks at her. He looks her over. You're the dumb debutante, aren't you? You're the dumb. Beatrice Sugarman, welcome to my dumb party. Butterscotch Horseman, charmed, I'm sure. You crash a lot of these. I'll take my free alcohol where I can get it. I'm saving for California. Booze takes a bite. What's in California? Ginsburg, Cassidy, Squirrel and Getty. This is where you ask me if those are towns, and then I smirk at you. I'm familiar with the beats, thank you. I like Ginsburg alright, but if you ask me, the Squirrel and Getty is nuts. What's your interest in them? What's my interest? They're the greatest minds of our generation, man. I'm heading west to join them because I'm one of the greatest minds too. I'm just having fun right now. I'm not even analyzing. I'm not even studying this. I mean, what can I really say? We're just meeting Butterscotch. This is her husband, her future husband, by the way. It's sort of I mean, there's not too much. It's just it's kind of just surfacey level for now of what's going on, of this story of how they met, them going to California. We're just getting a lot of characterization through the dialogue, which is really nice. I see. You will see. I'm writing the next great American novel. Oh, what's it about? It's about truth. It's about war. It's about the twilighting frontier of the lives that were promised us. It's about power. It's about faith. Blah, blah, blah. What's that? What's the lyrics of that song? It's about drive. It's about power. If we stay humble, we still have. We devour. But what is it about? Who are the characters? Well, I never claimed to have the whole thing sorted out just yet, did I? Sounds like a bestseller. You're sarcastic, which is an ugly thing for a woman to be. I don't know how you expect to nab a husband at a party like this with a personality like that. Congratulations. You and my father expressed the same concerns. Hell, if I were your old man, I'd be anxious to get you married off, too. He offers her a cigarette. She takes it. I bet your thank you letters are perfunctory, your flower arrangements are uninspired, and your curtsy is an embarrassment. I'm losing the surf air accent. I bet. Come on, man. Alright, I got it. Looks like you pegged me as well as I pegged you. What must your mother think of you, man? She doesn't think much about anything anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. Did she pass? No, not exactly. Mine did. I'm very sorry to hear that. I was a little... don't remember, really. But she had a diamond just like yours. He reaches out and strokes the diamond on her face. I saw it in a picture once. They lock eyes. Yes, this is my mother. What? What? Butterscotch is suddenly Bojack, talking to an orderly. Alright, now we're back in the present. Right here. Present. I'd like to leave her here. Can I pay for the next 5 years in a lump sum now, or so I don't have to think about her again? Corbin Creamer Man tentatively approaches. Oh jeez, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is just like the past. Okay, now we're back to the present. Oh jeez, I'm sorry to interrupt. We have to do the thing now, where we do the things. Oh right. She turns back to Bojack, who is back to being Butterscotch. Please excuse me. Of course, it sounds very important. Beatrice smiles as she sachets. I love that word. Sachets off. Butterscotch turns back to the bar. Sir, another gin and tonic, and easy on the tonic. A man in a tuxedo steps to the microphone. Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Sugarman present their daughter, Miss Beatrice Shapper Elizabeth Sugarman. Miss Beatrice, who is chaperoned by Mr. Corbin Creamer. My God, I'm yawning. Corbin C. Creamer Man. Beatrice stands with Joseph and Corbin on either side of her. Her mother is pulled along by Joseph into the spotlight. The crowd applauds, Beatrice bows, and then begins a horse jumping and dress routine. Wow. Oh, I remember this part. This part was freaking weird as hell. Look at her go, folks. Clearing every hurdle. Look at that form. What a precise movements. Beautiful trot. Truly outstanding. A lovely lady indeed. The crowd claps as Beatrice circles the stage. She looks over at the bar. Butterscotch is exiting. Butterscotch likes parking lot. Cigarette. He heads to his car. Beatrice calls out, "Excuse me, don't you know it's rude to leave without saying goodbye to the hostess?" "Why don't you come with me? It'll dispense with the need for goodbyes, thus eliminating my transgression." "You want me to leave my own party with you, the lowlife who wasn't even invited?" "Yes. Yeah, that's right, man. But I suppose Daddy wouldn't like that, would he?" They stare at each other a beat, then cut to the Butterscotch's car. Lookout point later. Butterscotch and Beatrice make out. It's fast and steamy. Hot damn. Beatrice's bedroom. Beatrice is in bed reading a book titled 2 Weeks Later. Joseph enters. "I have wonderful news." "I'm reading." "Corbin Creamerman has come to call. He'd like to take you for a Sunday stroll." "I'm not interested in Corbin Creamerman." "I don't give a damn where your interests lie." "Oh, After the disappearing act you pulled at your own party, you're lucky I don't fill a jar with jelly beans and marry you off to the man who can closest estimate the amount. But Corbin Kramer man is willing to give you a second chance. He's downstairs waiting and you will be civil with him. That's your father's command and it will be heeded. I just like how creative some of it is, like right here, you know, like I'll be lucky to marry off to the next person. You can write it like that, but this person, Katie, writes it. Don't fill a jar with jelly beans and marry you off to the man who can guess the closest amount. Damn. Park. Beatrice and Corbin walk through a park. Kids fly kite, an ant and a bear have a picnic. A dog and a human play tug of war. And the way they make non-dairy creamer is by replacing the milk fat with vegetable oil. That's why it doesn't need a refrigeration. Pretty nifty, huh? Is that so? Oh, geez, I'm boring you. No, not at all. I don't find you boring. Only the things you choose to talk about, and the way which you talk about them. I'm sorry, I just get excited about food chemistry. You know, we're abusing it. We're using it to make food more common modifiable, but I want to use it to prove that nature's way is actually the best way. Really? Oh gosh, yes, I want to push for Creamerman's products to be all natural. My father's not thrilled. He's more concerned with profit. He says I'll change my tune soon enough. I suppose he's right, but I feel like I never get to be anything other than what he expects me to be, you know. I do. You know, Corbin, it occurs to me that perhaps you and I aren't so... She pukes. Oh dear. She then pukes again and again. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's... I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. She pukes again. Corbin looks shocked. Locale-ass apartment building. Beatrice, distressed, paces nervously out front. A cockatiel in a cheap suit whistles. Nice games, nice games. Is that all? Is that the only thing you could think to say? Nice games. Nice games. There. Beatrice sighs, annoyed. Finally, Butterscotch approaches. Beatrice, what are you doing here, man? I had to look you up in the phone book. The number you gave me was to a pizza parlor in Brownsburg. What? Are you sure? I need to talk to you. I'm pregnant. What boy? Come on, Bopper. Can't you give us some privacy, please? Sure thing, Butterscotch. You take it easy. The cockatoo bobs his head and snaps as he walks off. Are you certain it's mine? Who else would it be? Do you think I lift my skirt, remove my pantyhose, unclasp my garters, and drop my drawers? Drop my drawers and unzip my lady pocket for any Tom, Dick, or Herring? God damn, it was so... Who else could it be? Do you think I lift my skirt, remove my pantyhose, unclasp my garters, drop my drawers, and unzip my lady pocket for any Tom, Dick, or Herring? Butterscotch sits on the stoop. Beatrice follows. Well, what do you want to do? Maybe I have a cousin who has a friend who knows a doctor who can take care of such... Oh man, I just ate too, so I'm just coming up. Inconveniences, man? I'm happy to do the gentlemanly thing and pay for the cab fare. Flash of young Beatrice's doll in the fire, melting, popping, then... No, I can't. Well, that doesn't leave us with very many options. I'm a ruined woman. Don't be hysterical, you're not ruined. It's verifiable fact, you look more beautiful than ever. She smiles in spite of herself. Oh, what do you know? It was a pretty great night we had together, huh? It was. They sit in silence, beat. Say, did you ever hear the story of a couple who moved to California? I can't say I have. Oh, it's a marvelous adventure. You see, they hardly knew each other, man, but they shared a certain sensitivity and a taste for the unknown. They were living in a one-horse town, so they needed They were living in a one-horse town, so they headed west. Towards a town that could accommodate 3 horses. Oh, yes. I think I have heard of this story. They got a small house in San Francisco near the bookstore. He got in good with Squirrel and Getty and his scurry. He wrote his great American novel, while his wife took care of the baby. His wife? I didn't hear about that part. Well, if she'd have him, if a beautiful creature like herself could ever love an oaf like him. I think she could. Yeah? Yeah. Isn't that how the story goes? They smile at each other, then kiss. God damn, that was so romantic. Oh my god, that was so romantic. I just like that dialogue, dude. The dream is to write dialogue like this, man. So you ever heard of a story of a couple who moved to California? They were living in a one-horse town, so it's just like the right amount of cheese and the right amount of fun, just for it to be fun. Because it's the tone too. Like the tone is so nice and calming. Great American novel. While his wife took care of the baby. Wife? I didn't know about that part. All right, so now we're done with Act 1. All the setup is ready, and now it's time. Yeah. Act 1. Now it's time for all the things for the rising and the falling of the action, because that's the lock-in. So now they're married. There's no better lock-in than the freaking ring on the finger. Am I right? They're locked in. So now it's time to see where this story takes us. We see a series of happy photos. Them with suitcases strapped to the top of a VW Bug, them in a simple wedding attire, kissing in an empty chapel, Beatrice's big baby belly showing, them holding up their wedding bands with the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. Establishing shot of an apartment building, San Francisco, 1964, 1 year later. Beatrice and Butterscotch's apartment at night. A clock on the wall shows it's the middle of the night. The baby is crying. Beatrice lies awake, rocking the cradle next to the bed with her foot. Butterscotch turns to her. The baby's hungry, man. He's not. I tried. He won't eat. I don't know what he wants. Well, can you figure it out? If I don't sleep, how can I work to support you and the child, let alone have energy left over to write? Maybe if anyone wanted to pay you for anything you wrote, this wouldn't be a problem. We'd be able to afford a nanny or a maid. Well, if Squirrel and Getty and his horde of commie, liberal, Jew-loving rejects knew what good writing was, I'd be able to sell something. It's so good. Horde of commie, liberal, Jew-loving rejects. Oh, so they're all wrong, and you're right. The baby lets out a louder cry. Why wouldn't you just take that corner office job at the Sugarman West instead of breaking your back all day at the cannery? And then maybe you can afford me some decent help around here. You want me to work for your father and get paid for it like some sort of slave? That's the opposite of slavery. Is it? Yes, it is. You have no facility for language. The baby cries out again. Oh, will you at long last be quiet? You want that baby, never forget that. I need quiet. Beatrice swallows a cocktail of pills and chokes them down with water. She then looks at the cradle and says, You'd better be worth all of this. The camera pushes onto the clock and we time dissolve to Bojack's childhood home living room. We widen out from the clock to find an exhausted Beatrice sitting in a chair, smoking a cigarette. She stares at the young Bojack 6 who's watching TV. Alright, so now we're in the old, jaded, tired, sad time. Well, you'd better be worth all of this. Well, you're not. Not what? Mommy's tired, Bojack. Tell me a story. Oh, no, I can use the old woman voice now, I think, slowly. Oh, I think I'll wait until she gets a little older. Bojack stands by her and claims, Once upon a time. Quiet. Your father's home. Butterscotch. How's work, darling? Terrible. Well, I burnt dinner again. But you can pick up the charted remains and delight me with stories of who lost a finger today at the cannery before locking yourself in your study for the night to chip away at your never-ending goddamn novel. I'll clean up the kitchen and bathe our filthy child and take a pill to keep myself thin and another to help me fall asleep, and we'll just keep waltzing through this goddamn proletariat dream. Maybe if the goddamn baby wasn't crying all the time, I could finish the goddamn novel. I'm not a baby. I'm 6. Yes, wah wah gaga goo goo. I'm forming sentences. Oh, and I can't. Is that what? They're all B's, man. It's so hard to figure out who's who. Is that what you're saying? Everyone's a critic. Even my own home is full of vultures. I can see the headline now. Idiot son thinks dad's book is great, comma, son is an idiot. I didn't say your book was great. I can't live like this. And you think I can? I should have married Corbin Creamerman. Look at this. Oh man, I like the bouncing. That's another part. Bounce, jumping back and forth between each character. Pa, 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 pa. And then Butterscotch is so like abusive, negligent, and toxic and all that shit. And you think I should have married Corbin Creamerman? Like he'd have you. He would have, and he would have been kind to me, and he would have taken care of me, and if he couldn't, he wouldn't have been too much of a stubborn ass to take a decent job at my father's company. Fine, I'll take the corner office with a company car, 6-figure salary, and 4 weeks paid vacation. But if my novel becomes bad because I no longer remember what it's like to be working class, we'll know whom to blame. He storms off. Beatrice smiles. Wow, that's such a good job. Quick-paced time-lapse montage as Beatrice sets about redecorating and ordering a newly hired staff. The living room becomes to look like a living room we've seen previous flashbacks of Bojack's childhood home. Alright, now things are getting older. Bojack ages up as he sits in the same spot in front of the TV. Eventually he's gone. We also see a series of maids culminating in Henrietta. Beatrice sits on the couch, smoking a cigarette and observing Henrietta clean from the corner of her eye. A painting is propped against the wall. Beatrice stands. Henrietta, will you help me pack this? I want to bring it to my son. Of course, Mrs. Horseman. Of course, Mrs. Horseman. She takes the painting. Butterscotch, now in his 60s, enters with a drink. He makes a face at the painting. Hey, Jesus, what's with that ghastly thing? It belongs to father. Flash of Beatrice in front of her father's casket. I'm giving it to Bojack. I never cared for the aesthetic arts. Dulls the senses. Art should be straightforward and utilitarian like my novel. Can't wait to read it. Henrietta, the painting. Right away, Mrs. Horseman. I shouldn't have to ask you twice. God gave you 2 ears and me only 1 mouth after all. Henrietta takes the painting to the other room. You could be nicer to her. No one's ever been nice to me. Why should I be nice? Beatrice, just because the maid bats her sad little eyes at you doesn't mean I'm so easily seduced. I don't know what you're insinuating. I'm losing all the accents now that they're older. Oh, I'm sure she tells you, darling, poor little match girl stories about how she's saving up for nursing school. As a matter of fact, she is saving up for nursing school. I know, I can hear you flirting through the wall, where you're supposedly working on your novel. I bet you think she's falling in love with you, you sensitive, misunderstood artist. Won't she be disappointed? I don't... Bojack, pre-lap. I don't know why you just don't get a divorce already. Bojack living room, 1999 day. Beatrice just entered. The painting leans against the wall. Oh, sure, that's the Hollywood way. Divorce, divorce. Everyone gets a divorce. We're out of mustard. Let's get a divorce. I'm a little sad. Let's divorce. We've grown apart for the years, and our adult child has moved out of the house, and there's no reason for us to stay together. Divorce. That's actually a legitimate reason to get a divorce. Well, who else would have me now after what you did to my body? What I did. Anyway, do you want this painting? I belong to your grandfather, a man who knew what marriage meant. Joseph and Honey's shadows on the wall. What's it called? We've grown apart over the years and our adult child has moved. I can actually talk about some comedy tips too. With this part here, it's like you say the joke, everyone gets a divorce, we're out of mustard, get a divorce, I'm a little sad, get a divorce, and then you give like the 1-2 punch. Like this is the final punchline. Okay, there's always like that. It's like pun, 2 punch, 1-2 punch, the 1-2. Anyway, I mean, this is not really the best example, but if I see any more, I might point it out. Anyway, do you want this painting? Sure. I drove it all the way down here, didn't I? You might as well take it. I said I'd take it. Of course, take. That's all you ever do. How long are you sticking around for, Mom? Because I got a date with Tanya Harding tonight. She was the good one, right? I always get them confused. Just pour me a drink and I'll be on my way. Yeah, let's get you good and liquored up before you drive back up the coast. He fixes her a drink. I heard your show was cancelled 3 years ago now. You're really on the pulse. I never understood the appeal. Yes, you've made that abundantly clear. It's just a bunch of silly stories. Some people like silly stories. They find them comforting. I, for one, am through with silly stories. A lot of good they ever did. Well, it's not Ibsen, but it would only depress me to watch you fumble and bumble around like that. All the sacrifices I made so you can do this. Well, thanks for the painting. I'll be nice. It'll be nice to have something that always reminds me of this conversation. Beatrice enters to find... So now we're... Beatrice and Butterscotch home. Beatrice enters to find Butterscotch and Henrietta having sex on the couch. They do not notice her. Oh, oh. Henrietta. Mr. Horseman. Beatrice clears her throat. Oh! They stop and turn, surprised to see her. You're home early. That's your fault. You're home early. That's your fault. Henrietta gets up, covering herself. My God, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Great, now I have to find a new maid. Another thing you've ruined, Butterscotch. She lights a cigarette. Beatrice. You're fired, of course. Henrietta nods, then starts to exit. Wait, clean this up. Wait, clean this up. Then you're fired. She takes a drag of a cigarette as she inhales flashes of fire, the woods of Michigan, her mother, herself in labor, fire, little Beatrice falling off the slide, fire. So where we have Beatrice is the main character of this episode, and we're sort of going through her thing. So now this is like kind of like the lowest point of her whole life kind of thing, but she's already used to it. I think her, like she's just it's like down, and then forever says down. Remember the last time it was like that? The midpoint kind of mirrors a moment of happiness. I guess you can say that that tiny bit of happiness was when when the father decides to take the job and things kind of go up, but it's just always been downhill. It's just downhill, downhill. And I mean, this is 30-minute friggin' screenplay, comedy special TV, so it's different. Act 3. Interior Beatrice and Butterscotch's home, 2000 day. Beatrice is reading a book titled Several Months Later, but Butterscotch enters. She ignores him. He clears his throat. Beatrice! What? I gummed things up. Oh? It's Henrietta. The girl went and got herself pregnant. Oh, she got herself pregnant. I really made a mess of things, I'm sorry. Well, what do you expect me to do about it? Man, now their voices are getting mixed up. Well, what do you expect me to do about it? Can you talk to her? Can you talk to her, man? Woman to woman? She wants to have the baby. I can't talk her out of it. What do you want me to say? I'm out of options, B. You think I enjoy groveling to my own wife, hat in hand? If you weren't so neglectful of your wifely duties, baby, we wouldn't be in this fix. He's just throwing blame. Don't you dare. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. Please. Just fix this for me, please. I know you hate me, but think of the poor girl. Beatrice sighs. Suddenly she's in a restaurant 2000. Beatrice sits across from a visibly pregnant Henrietta. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Horseman. He was just so kind to me. He said you reminded him. He said you reminded him of his dead mother. They looked surprised. He said she had dark hair just as mine. She saw it in the picture once. Beatrice sighs. And do you really want this child? Do you really want this child? I don't know. I think so. Henry hands her a photo of a sonogram. It's a baby horse, a girl. Beatrice looks at it. Henrietta swallows. I need help. I'm studying to be a nurse. The tuition keeps going up. None of that is my fault. If I can just finish school and get a job, it'll be okay. And who's going to take care of the baby while you work? Because I won't. And God knows he won't. Henrietta starts crying. Beatrice sighs, takes pity on her. Well, don't do that. What does that solve? I don't know where else to go. Alright, we'll pay for your tuition. Really? Yes. And you'll give the baby up for adoption. No. You think you want this, but you don't. Not like this. Mrs. Horseman, I'm telling you, you don't want this. Don't throw away your dreams for this child. Don't let that man poison your life the way he did mine. You're going to finish your schooling and become a nurse. You'll meet a man, a good man, and you'll have a family. But please believe me, you don't want this. Please, Henrietta, you have to believe me. Please don't do what I did. Now we're seeing some of the happiness in there. That's the bit of that character change. She's so like spiteful and hateful, but I think seeing someone in her own shoes softens her up and reminds her of how she was. That's what this episode, like before this episode, we just known as the mom being super abusive, super mean, and then now you're seeing like why she's mean, why she's all of that, and it's, you know, you're seeing a lot of it. Oh, it's so good. Henrietta, a little freaked out, nods. Okay. Beatrice stands by Henrietta's side as she pushes. The baby pushes out a baby Bojack. God. Oh, this is the hospital. Beatrice is helping Henrietta, and then no one helps Beatrice. Alright, so this is sort of like the side by side. A baby horse girl cries as a doctor swaddles that the baby looks like a hollyhock, because it is. Hollyhock is Bojack's stepsister, I guess. Yeah. Hospital delivery room. Not stepsister, half-sister. You did it, Henrietta. You did it, Henrietta. The hard part is over. Wait, I want to hold her. No, you'll get attached. I need to hold her. This is for your own good, Henrietta. Beatrice takes the swaddled baby from the doctor. Hospital delivery room 19. The doctor hands Beatrice a swaddled baby Bojack. Butterscotch sits with them. Beatrice tears up. Butterscotch puts his head on her shoulder. Beatrice is looking down at the horse girl infant. She hands her off to a nice, official-looking woman. Beatrice stands alone and empty-armed. A beat. Put like a comma or something there. I'll move this to like another line. Interior. Beatrice. Well, actually it works. Beatrice stands alone and empty-armed. A beat. I guess. It just sounds weird. A 7-year-old 1947 night, infirmed Beatrice wakes up to find house staff collecting things from her room and burning them in her fireplace. She looks around for her doll. My baby. Where's my baby? She sees a pile of her books and toys by the fire. She makes her way to it and finds her doll's legs sticking out. She unburies it and holds it close. A servant picks up a pile of books. The next morning, 2 weeks later, etc. Beatrice grabs the books. No, please, stop. The servant throws the books into the fire. Beatrice breaks down crying. Why are you doing this? Beatrice, remember what we say about crying. If we want a life of meek bleakness, we must never demonstrate our weakness. We must keep our eyes dry so we are not turned into organ meat pie by those who would like us to die. Now cheer up, Chiba. Daddy, tell them not to burn my things. But darling, they have to. Your sickness has infected everything. It all must be destroyed for your own good. But not my baby. Yes, especially your baby. Takes the doll and tosses it into the fire. See, doesn't that feel better? No. This is so traumatizing. And just the dad, Joseph's being like, do not cry. You must not show weakness. Lunging for the fire, she collapses. Come now, be strong. You can't let your womanly emotions consume you. You don't want to end up like your mother now, do you? No. Beatrice watches her doll burn while stifling tears. I promise one day this will all be a pleasant memory. Beatrice watches her doll's eyes pop and melt in the fire. A hunted expression washes over her face. This is trauma, dude. She's never gonna recover from this. As she hasn't. We saw she never recovered. Beatrice's room. Beatrice, present day, has the same haunted expression. Best of luck. See you never. Okay, this is the... She's starting to remember. Beatrice shakes out of her reverie. She looks around. Who's that? I've already forgot Beatrice's voice. Who's there? Bojack rolls his eye. Bye, Mom. Bojack. It's like vocal fry plus head voice. Bojack. Bojack is nearly at the door. He stops. Mom? Bojack, is that you? He turns around tentatively. Yeah, it's me. What is this place? This is where you live now. Oh, this part's so sad. I think I cried when I read this for the first time. What is this place? This is where you live now. No. Is it? No. Mom? Where are we, Bojack? I just told you. I don't understand. Where am I? He looks at her. She looks frightened and pitiful. His face falls. You're in Michigan. Michigan. At the old vacation home. I am. Yeah. It's a... Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. Hold on, I gotta analyze it. Yeah, it's me. What is this place? This is where you live now. No. Is it? No. Mom, where are we, Bojack? I just told you. I don't understand. Where am I? She looks frightened and pitiful. Yeah, she's at that old, senile age now. I am. Yeah, it's a warm summer night, and the fireflies are dancing in the sky. Your whole family is here. They're telling you everything's going to be alright. Yes, that's right. What else? The crickets are chirping, and the lake is still, and the night is full of stars. I can see it. It's so clear. What are we doing here, Bojack? We're sitting on the back porch, and we're listening to the radio, and we're eating ice cream. Vanilla ice cream. Yes, that's right. It's all so marvelous. Can you taste the ice cream, Mom? She has a faraway look in her eyes. After a beat. Oh, Bojack, it's so delicious. Fuck, I'm crying. It's over. Fuck. You could tell, I got choked up when I had to read the next line. Oh my word. Oh my word. I crack. Yawn and crack everything. My gosh. Oh, Bojack, it's delicious. And that's the end of the episode. Damn. Act 3. Act 3 goes with... Act 3 has this part, and then it kind of shows... Yeah, Act 3 shows like... man, there's like this conflict going on with the... Now she's pregnant, but then we sort of see Beatrice make a bit of a turn in her character where she wants to help Henrietta. She helps her not make the same mistake she did. She gets better. And then we sort of see young Beatrice's trauma again, shows how bad of a life she's had. And then it goes, and then all the way back to her present time, where Bojack is out the door, where Bojack finally sees like the vulnerable side of her. Because there's no excuse for what she did to Bojack, right? No excuse for it. But you can understand why, or like why she's a person like that, why she acted the way she did. You can understand and see. But that does not excuse the behavior. Damn, what a great episode. And the writing is amazing. I like all the dialogue. The dialogue adds so much. Oh my god. Freaking crying my eyes out. I'm like holding in tears, man. I'm choking. My eyes are watery. Oh. Oh my gosh. I'm yawning the hell out of here. Well, that's the end of Bojack. Pretty good, pretty good. I'm gonna do Chicory. I guess I'll do Chicory right after this, and then maybe there'll be more fun stuff going on. We will see. Maybe I won't do Chicory. Maybe I'll just push it to tomorrow. We will see how I'm feeling. But that is all. Goodbye, everybody. Bye bye.